Standing out here, I think everybody knows, with Randy Hales. Randy, appreciate you coming out, because this situation with Brian Christopher and Doug Gilbert has really escalated up to the point he not only lost the title, he ended up losing his car, as we just had an opportunity to talk about.
Thank you very much, Lance. You know, it's been a rough week for me. Eddie Marlin, today's his birthday today. A couple of months ago, he told me that he was going to take a week off. And it's been a week that
he deserves it.
I wish he would have been here, because I've had problems all week long with Doug Gilbert, Lance. Doug Gilbert absolutely feels he's on top of the world. He won the USWA title, and he won the car of Brian Christopher. As you know, soon as the match happened, Brian Christopher, everybody knows the confidence that he has. He came to me and said, I want a return match immediately. I want the chance to get my vehicle back. Well, I went to Doug Gilbert, and it was cat and mouse all week long. I went to Doug. Doug said, the only way I'll do it is for Brian Christopher to put his hair up. Went to Brian. Went to Brian. He agreed to it. Went back with the contract with Doug. Doug said, no. Said it needs to be a tag team match. Brian said, fine, I'll get the Moondog or Jerry Lawler to be my partner, or Jimmy Valiant. Went back to Brian with Doug with the contract. He said no. Well, if Doug Gilbert could come out here right now, if we could call Doug Gilbert out, I have a contract that we have, and hopefully he will agree to this today.
Now, this, at Gilbert's insistence, is to be a tag, but with the stipulation about the hair, Randy?
That's exactly right. Here he is right now.
Mr. Hales, it looks to me like you're a little tired. Have you not been sleeping very good this week?
You know very well why I hadn't been sleeping this week, because I've been dealing with you every day. Doug, if you would look at me, this contract stipulates, just like you asked, that the match will be a tag team match, you and Tommy Rich. The car will be at stake. Brian Christopher's hair will be at stake.
That sounds good, don't it, Lance Russell? Yeah, that's what I agree. But you have to say there is going to be no partners. I'll give you about 50 names, and there's going to be no Jerry Lawler. There's going to be no Jeff Jarrett. There's going to be no Moondog, and there's going to be, I'll give you the list. You know who it's not going to be, right?
That's right. It's on the contract. Jerry Lawler, Jeff Jarrett, Bill Dundee, the Moondogs, Handsome Jimmy Valiant. They're all there, Doug. It also states that nobody that's ever teamed with Brian Christopher before can be in the match.
Well, I mean, who do you want for a partner in there?
Hey, now listen. No, I told Randy Hales before. I said, now you can go get T.D. Steele, or you can go get Eddie Givens, or, you know, Brian Christopher and Tony Williams. They're pretty good friends, Lance.
The new kids. The new kids.
See, I give you many choices, Randy Hales. Did I or did I not?
Yeah, you gave me a lot of choices. I told Brian Christopher not to sign this contract, but he did.
It's here.
So if you would sign this, you can look at it.
Put this down, Lance Russell. Let me look at this before I sign.
Look it over good, Dennis.
You know, Randy Hales is always trying to trick me and con me, just like Eddie Marlin. He's just like him. He's a fool, too. But I'll go ahead and sign this for you, Randy Hales, because I do have everything like I want, and I am on top of the hill, Randy Hales.
The hair versus the car. The contract is signed, Lance. I don't want to do any more business out here. Let's ring the bell and
Randy.
Hey, no. Don't cut the USWA champion off. What it is, see, I've done took Brian Christopher's USWA belt. I've got it right here. I'm looking finer than anybody's ever looked. And what else I'm telling you, I'm driving around. I'm driving up this morning. A lot of girls started going, woo, woo. I rolled down them dark windows. And what they say, no, it ain't Brian. It's the real thing. It's the USWA heavyweight champion in Brian Christopher's vehicle that he won. And Brian Christopher, you've got such a big ego. You're nothing but 20 years old and wet behind the ears. You will never be me. You can't even lace up my boots. So what I'm saying is it's all coming to an end, Lance Russell.
Yeah, fine. It sounds to me like you're trying to imitate Brian Christopher with the belt, with his car. And
we got everything we want, Lance Russell. I got a hurt neck, but we also got the car. That's what counts. That's
I'm really concerned, Scott. TD's deal, while Scott Bowden ends up distracting the referee, and there it is, Dave.
Boy, I tell you what, you got TD Steele out here giving it a go against Tommy Rich, and he can't even win it fair and square. Got to go to the pile driver, and that's how he wraps it up. Referee didn't see it. Scott Bowden was distracting the referee over here, so the referee didn't see the pile driver.
I was just calling out TD Steele using fists throughout the match. We came here to wrestle. We didn't come here to fight. We're lovers, not fighters.
The barber shop would have just been open to see that boy didn't have any hair. Brian Christopher, I'm sure let me set my USWA belt down. I'm sure everybody here knows what these are. That's called scissors that cut hair. Brian Christopher, you're gutless. You won't cut. Hey, what's he doing, Lance Russell? This is my pile.
Why don't you stop running your mouth, and why don't you get in here with me right now?
He don't talk.
He just did talk to you like that.
He don't talk to me like that.
Come on, why don't you and me get in here right now? Hey, you better show some respect to the USA. Come on, everybody.
Gilbert comes down. Christopher rips him with a right hand. Oh, yeah. There's Tommy Rich right up behind him, Dave. Buddy Landell. And Nature Boy, Buddy Landell comes in, and guess who decided it's time to leave? Bowden, Gilbert, Tommy Rich. They all decided good time to go as Buddy Landell came rolling into that ring. He jumped him, too.
I tell you what, that evened it up real quick. It was 3 against 2, but somehow it was pretty even there.
I think they decided they had another appointment they had to go to. We're going to take time out and be back. Looks like a fun time ahead. Brian Christopher, and here comes Buddy Landell. What's brewing here, Brian Christopher?
What's brewing here, Lance, is week after week, these two backstabbers, Tommy Rich and Doug Gilbert, continuously come out here and jump me from the behind. But today the roles were reversed, weren't they, boys? Because I've gone out, they wanted me to find a partner. They wanted me to find somebody that I've never teamed with before. It couldn't be Jerry Lawler. It couldn't be handsome Jimmy Valiant. It couldn't be the Moondog. Well, baby, I started thinking. I got on the phone, and I called one of the sneakiest, one of the dirtiest, one of the low-downest people I've ever met in my life. And sure, I've never teamed with him before, Lance, but push has come to shove. And it's time for me to start pushing some people around. Now, Doug Gilbert, you got my belt. And now, you've got my car. But believe me, baby, I'm going to start getting mean. I'm going to start getting nasty. And the first step is right here, bringing in the Nature Boy, Buddy Landell. Because like I said, he is one of the dirtiest people I've ever met. And this is the kind of guy I need to take care of a couple of punks like you. Tell him, buddy.
And his name is going to squeeze through the crack in that contract so it will pass and he can be your partner, right?
That's right. It looks like everything's backfired on Doug Gilbert, hasn't it? Because I found somebody, sure, he fits in the contract. And like I said, this is the man I need to take care of a couple of punks like you.
Buddy Landell, boy.
You know, Lance,
Yeah, I know.
I know exactly how Tommy Rich and Doug Gilbert feel right now because I've been in that situation so many times here in the USWA where I thought that I had the upper hand, and my feelings are kind of hurt a little bit. Out of all the 50 names that Doug Gilbert read off, he forgot about the Nature Boy. You know? Well, that's fine. Let me go back just a little bit. It's been about 8 months ago. I was tag team partners with the Gilbert brothers, Doug and Eddie, okay? And let me just explain something to you about life with Doug and Eddie and Tommy Rich, okay? First off, they've got this complex that everybody gets up every morning thinking about how they can put the shaft to them. You understand what I'm saying? We're talking about paranoid schizophrenics here. You understand? You understand what I'm saying, Lance?
I'm trying
These guys go up and down the road talking about what they ain't got, how people's putting the shaft to them, and all this other kind of stuff. You know, and it's ironic that Doug Gilbert won his truck from him. You know what? Because that brings back to my memory a situation to where I was embarrassed. I had to ride up and down the road with Doug Gilbert and that old beat-up jalopy that he had. We had to pull over every mile and a half and put a quart of oil in it.
And this is what really upsets me. It's the
He
prince.
made you pay for it,
That's
didn't he?
right. He owed me $30. I loaned him $30 to get a fan belt put on his car. In good faith, I gave him the money. Now, Lance, $30 to you, me, or Brian, that ain't nothing, okay? It's the principle of the fact. Let me tell you something, Tommy Rich and Eddie Gilbert. Let me tell you something. Doug, your daddy slapped me in the dressing room years ago because I was a little smart-mouth punk and he put me in my place. I don't know what's going on with the hair match and the car and all that other stuff. The only thing that I know is this. I was at home and got a phone call and I was asked if I would be Brian Christopher's partner. And I got to say this. I was the USWA tag. I was the champion here months ago. And this man beat me right in the middle of the ring, fair and square. You understand what I'm saying? It's the hell of a man right here. Well, let me tell you something, boys. The same way your daddy slapped me, I'm getting ready to slap you, Doug Gilbert. You understand what I'm saying? Believe. You know my meaning. You know what I stand for, baby. I'm going to take you out.
Tell you one thing about it, he's got that confidence, Mr. Bryan.
But when he says fair and square, that's not how we're going to be playing this game, boys. When my hair's at stake, we're going to do whatever it takes. And we're about to show you a little bit of it right now, baby.
It'll be interesting to see these guys together as a tag team. This will be the very first time.